And I said something about losing 200 pounds. And a guy behind us in line, a 6-foot guy standing behind me in line, he taps me on the shoulder and he goes, I weigh 200 pounds. What? Wow. I lost a whole 6-foot tall person off of my body. It was just.
Welcome to Midlife Dialogues. Today we're talking with René Laws, who has an incredible story about taking hold of her life and making it what she wanted it to be. René lives in Stafford, Virginia with her husband, who's a retired Marine, and they have 6 adult children. Welcome, René. I'm excited to talk with you.
Hi, how are you?
First of all, you say that you took control of your mind and body and became the person that you always wanted to be. That's interesting. Tell us about that.
It was my weight. Every time I got pregnant, I wouldn't really lose the weight. And then for years after I had my final child, I would say, oh, it's baby weight. You know, everybody has their own issues from when they're teenagers, the family, whatever. You know, you kind of have your basic stuff that you have going on that you carry around with you, things that you wish you would have done differently, things that you should have done differently, things that you wish other people had done differently. And you carried around a lot of baggage. And for me also, I kind of grew up in a religious household. And so I carried around a lot of guilt and shame around things that I probably didn't need to be ashamed of or feel guilty about in retrospect and after going to therapy. But at the time, I was carrying around a lot of baggage. And so I kind of hid inside of my weight. But one of the things that I did do was started to drink a lot, and it was becoming a problem. So that was affecting my health on top of being obese. And at the height of my weight issues, I was 338 pounds and I'm 5'3". So that's on a little frame. And I went into the doctor one day and she said, we got your blood results back and it's not good. And I said, what's not good? Which one? Which one's bad? And she goes, oh, all of them. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, pre-diabetic. And it's what she called the trifecta of death. When your doctor uses that phrase in a doctor's appointment, it gets your attention. My current physician at the time was well aware that I had been on Weight Watchers. I'd done Metafast. I'd done all of these different trials. I had been successful and then could never maintain. And I would never really quit drinking. I would slow down or moderate, but I would never stop drinking alcohol. And it was a vicious cycle. And she recognized that and said, I don't take this lightly. I don't give this advice lightly, but I really think you should consider bariatric surgery. That hit me hard. My aunt had it. I had a friend that had it. And I thought those people were unhealthy. And I didn't see myself that way. I was really bad. I couldn't walk into a grocery store without having to take a break in the bench out front and relax between the parking lot and the door. But I didn't see myself as unhealthy. I was just like, oh, I just need to walk more. I need to get in the gym more. I need to stretch more. I'll start doing yoga. Everything will be fine. She said that. I was like a slap, a reality slap.
Interesting. So that was the impetus that made you take control.
That was it. And I was in denial a little bit. I went to the bariatric surgeon and he brings out like these pictures kind of just to show you, we cut here, we do this, we remove this. And he had 4 or 5 different operations that they could perform spread out on this table. And I was like, no, no.
So what made you change your mind?
I told him, I said, I can't. He kind of had a knowing glance and said, okay. And I left and I came home and I cried. I cried because I was like, where am I in my life that I am almost 50 years old and I am dying of something I did. I didn't get cancer. I didn't get, some kind of a disease or I gave this condition to myself. And now I'm going to die if I don't do something. And the thing that I have to do is something that I would never have imagined. And so it was really scary. Ultimately, I decided to go back and take another look without the fear. So I went back. I sat down, we went through, all the options, and I picked the one that was in my mind and by his description, how I felt was the least invasive. They take out all of your stomach except a small portion, and then they sling it like the shape of a banana so that it becomes more like just a pass through instead of a place for your food to rest. And what happens is when your food rests, if you eat too much food and then drink liquid and everything else, the pouch just gets bigger and bigger. And then next time you're hungry for more. And the next time you're hungry for more. You can imagine if you're a big person, your stomach has grown with you and it wants to be full. One of the things he said to me was, was, you have to stop drinking 3 weeks before your surgery, and you will not be able to drink 6 months to 1 year after, depending on your recovery process. Because I was honest with him about how much I drank, and he was hesitant at first to even consider the surgery after that. And then he added tests, and then he, made me go on a liquid diet, stop drinking, and wanted to make sure my liver had shrunk to a certain point. And if it had not, he was not going to do the surgery, because the liver gets in the way of what they're trying to do. If it's bloated, they can't get to the stomach properly, and it could cause a risk factor. And he wasn't willing to do that.
And how did that go? Were you able to stop drinking?
Yeah. I literally looked in the mirror and I was like, this is going to stop. But I, at this point, still wasn't willing to admit that I was an alcoholic. I got to that 6-month mark after my surgery. My doctor called me in and we did blood tests and everything. And she said, and she, again, still didn't know that I was really like alcoholic level drinking. And she said, oh, your post-surgery and your bariatric surgeon says that you can resume alcohol. So if you feel comfortable, whenever, if you want to, whatever. And I went home and I sat on it and I was like, no, I can never drink again. If I do, I'll be sad that I drank, so I'll eat, and then I'll drink about it, and then I'll eat about it, and I'll drink about it, and I'll eat about it. So I didn't go back to drinking. But what happened was, after I decided not to drink, my head started to swim. I was like, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to deal with my anxiety? Because I hadn't been able to think about any of my issues that made me drink, because I was hyper focused on my body and myself. But I started to get to the point where I was losing a lot of weight. I was really getting to wear clothes that I didn't have to go to special stores for. I could just walk into Target and buy a shirt. But I started to get afraid of what I was going to do once I reached the weight that I wanted. How was I going to deal with it? How was I going to maintain? How was I not going to drink, because I wasn't going to have anything to focus on anymore? And I just started to freak out. I was really stressed. It was right after the holidays. We were meeting with some of the kids. We were meeting at a rest stop with our masks because it was COVID and we weren't going to be able to see each other. We were going to exchange Christmas presents. And we were getting confused about the exits. And my husband was trying to give me directions and I was getting really frustrated. So I just pulled off the highway and I got out of the truck. Like, I just stopped being able to function. All of a sudden my brain went, you're done. I got out, I walked to the tree line 100 yards away from, the interstate. And I just started walking along the tree line. And my husband's getting out of the truck and he's like, babe, are you okay? And I'm hollering back behind him. I'm like, I'm not okay. And he's like, what do you need? And I'm like, I don't know, but I just have to walk. So I got back in the car and I called the therapist the next day. Actually, I messaged my cousin, who's a child psychiatrist. And I said, Lucas, I snapped today. I felt like I couldn't control my brain anymore. Like, everything was just coming crashing down on me. And I was like, I need to go to therapy. And in therapy is where I started to kind of release all that. I had my surgery in May of 2019. When I started going to therapy and realizing all of the guilt and shame I was carrying, and I was the only person suffering. And once I was able to tell myself, nope, you can do that. That's okay. Once I was able to realize that, the confidence just blew up. I had always been a happy-go-lucky kind of person where I was always the glass half full, but I let myself be walked all over. I bent over backwards for people that I shouldn't have, because I always felt like I wasn't enough. I wasn't doing the right stuff. I was always trying to, do the thing. My confidence just went through the roof. Like, I was like, I'm here and I'm like, doing stuff. And I was like, who's going to stop me? So I did have skin removed, 5 pounds from my stomach and about 1.5 pounds from my arms. Can you imagine what 5 pounds of skin?
You must have felt amazing after that.
I feel like I am more like I was back then, looking forward to life, having fun, being able to go out and do whatever I want. The only limitations that I give are myself. I'm living a whole completely different life than I thought I would be 10 years ago. My girlfriend is a trainer for Les Mills, and it's those classes that you take at the gym, like body combat, body pump, all those kind of group classes. Every now and then they'll do it live with a live audience of people doing it along with them, and they'll film it. And so that's what they were doing in Los Angeles. So my girlfriend was like, I'm going to go. Do you want to come? And I was like, absolutely. That'd be fun. And then she got injured at the gym and her doctor wouldn't let her go. So I flew to Los Angeles, California by myself and attended this exercise event for 3 days. And I worked out with 2,000 people. I'm going to get emotional. Sorry. It was such a powerful moment for me because I was like, I couldn't have even walked from where the Uber dropped me off to get in the front door 5 years ago. And here I am working out 3 different times in one day with 2,000 people. And I'm just waiting for the next one. And what? It was an out-of-body experience. It blows my mind that 5 years ago, my doctor was telling me, if you don't do something, you're going to die. I'm on no medication. I only take vitamins and supplements. I eat protein and vegetables and a little bit of carbs, healthy, complex carbs that I need. I have a completely different health lifestyle than I did before. Mentally, I am back where I was, when you're in high school and you think you know everything and you feel really confident about how all the other people, all the other adults they don't know what they're talking about. I'm back there. I'm back there now where I'm like, you know what? I do know what I'm talking about. I'm 52 years old. I know a few things now, but I also feel like I have a lot of hope for the future, which I've never had. I haven't had that in a very long while.
What an incredible story. You are truly an inspiration, René Laws. Thank you so much for talking with us. And for everybody else out there, watch for part 2 and part 3 of Renée's story. They are both coming here to Midlife Dialogues very soon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.